Have you ever done something kind for a complete stranger, never expecting anything in return? Sometimes, a single act of kindness can change lives in ways we never imagined. Tonight's story is about a hard-working single father who stopped to help a young woman on a cold, rainy night. He thought he was simply doing the right thing. But the next day, he discovered a truth that left him completely speechless. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Soul Touch Tales, and leave a comment below telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us bring more heartwarming stories like this one. Now let's begin. Mark Wilson was a single father living in a small town in Ohio. Every day, he worked long hours as a maintenance technician to provide for his 10-year-old daughter, Lily. Life wasn't easy. Since losing his wife 5 years earlier, Mark had carried the weight of both parenting and earning a living all by himself. One rainy Friday night, Mark was driving home after a late shift. He was tired and eager to get back to Lily, who was waiting for him with dinner. As he drove along a quiet country road, his headlights caught sight of someone standing alone near a bus stop. It was a young woman. She looked frightened and completely soaked by the rain. Her clothes were muddy, and she seemed to be shivering from the cold. Cars passed by without stopping. Mark hesitated for only a moment. He knew how dangerous it could be to pick up strangers. But something about the young woman's desperate expression reminded him of the values his late wife had always taught him. "Help people when you can," she used to say. Mark pulled over. The young woman looked relieved when he rolled down his window. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded nervously. "My phone died, and I missed the last bus," she said. "I don't know how I'm going to get home." Mark could see tears forming in her eyes. Without thinking twice, he said, "Get in. I'll take you home." The woman thanked him repeatedly as she climbed into the truck. During the drive, Mark learned that her name was Emily. She seemed polite but unusually quiet. She avoided talking about herself and only gave directions to her home. The rain continued pouring as they drove through the darkness. At one point, Emily looked at Mark and asked, "Why did you stop for me?" Mark smiled. "Because if my daughter were ever stranded somewhere, I'd hope someone would help her too." Emily lowered her eyes. For a moment, she looked deeply moved. After nearly 40 minutes, they arrived at a beautiful neighborhood filled with large homes. Mark was surprised. The area was far more expensive than anywhere he could afford. Emily thanked him again. Before getting out, she reached into her purse. "Please let me pay you," she said. Mark shook his head immediately. "No, just get inside safely." Emily smiled. "You don't know how much this means to me." With that, she disappeared behind the gates of a large estate. Mark drove home and thought little more about it. To him, it had simply been an act of kindness. The next morning, Mark arrived at work as usual. His company had recently been purchased by a new owner, and everyone was nervous about the changes that might come. Employees whispered throughout the building. The new leadership team was scheduled to visit that morning. At exactly 10 o'clock, all staff members were called into a large meeting room. Mark took a seat in the back. A few moments later, several executives entered. Then Mark froze. Walking beside them was Emily, the same young woman he had driven home the night before. His jaw nearly dropped. Emily was dressed professionally now, looking confident and elegant. The company president stepped forward. "I'd like everyone to meet Emily Carter," he announced. "She is the daughter of our company's new CEO and will be joining our executive leadership team." The room filled with applause. Mark sat silently, unable to believe what he was hearing. Emily scanned the room. When her eyes met Mark's, she smiled immediately. After the meeting ended, she walked straight toward him. Several managers watched curiously. "Mr. Wilson," she said warmly, "it's good to see you again." Mark laughed nervously. "I had no idea who you were." Emily smiled. "That's exactly why I wanted to thank you." She explained that she had been returning from a charity event the previous night when unexpected transportation problems left her stranded. Many people had ignored her. Some had looked directly at her and driven away. But Mark had stopped without asking for anything in return. "You treated me like a human being," she said. "Not because of my family's name. Not because of money. Just because someone needed help." Mark shrugged. "It was nothing." Emily shook her head. "No, it was everything." Over the following months, Emily became known throughout the company for her leadership and compassion. She often spoke about the importance of kindness and respect. And whenever she shared that message, she remembered Mark. Eventually, Mark received a promotion he had worked years to earn. But what meant even more to him was the friendship that developed between their families. Emily often visited Lily and encouraged her to pursue her dreams. For the first 7 years after I buried my daughter, I believed I was honoring course, all because of one simple decision on a rainy night. Him was the friendship that developed between their families. Emily often visited Lily and encouraged her to pursue her dreams. For the first time in years, Mark felt that life was opening new doors, all because of one simple decision on a rainy night. The truth is, kindness doesn't require wealth, power, or special abilities. Sometimes it looks like stopping your car. Sometimes it means offering a helping hand. And sometimes, the person you help turns out to be someone you never expected. But that's not why we should be kind. We should be kind because every person we meet is carrying struggles we cannot see. And when we choose compassion over indifference, we make the world a little brighter. So the next time you have the chance to help someone, remember Mark's story. One small act of kindness can create ripples far beyond what you can imagine. And sometimes, the greatest rewards come when you're expecting nothing at all.